Hello, my friends. Welcome back to Frog Boy X1 Gaming and Tech Reviews. I am Andrew, and this is the Italian Clowns. We are going to be discussing AI today. I know that's not something that this channel or any other channel really cares much about right now due to the prices of RAM and gaming and everything else, but my friends, we are on a new transformation. Like things are changing. Things are changing fast, and as you listen to today's video between Clowns and I, we want to try to help you understand AI a little bit better. And we're going to do this every week so that we can, start helping the community understand like the many possibilities that are at your fingertips with AI if you're willing to invest in that. And a lot of us have very capable hardware, especially if we're running AMD, especially if you're running NVIDIA. You have a lot more than you think right at your fingertips to be able to start utilizing this technology in a way that could literally transform your life and bring in a steady flow of income that will help you to be able to afford the massive cost of AI. So I'm gonna let Clowns introduce himself now.
Hey everybody, what's up? This is Clowns, aka Carlo from 4GQ TV. It's always a pleasure coming on here with Frogboy Gaming and talking about AI. Like we're both passionate about this, and he's been putting in a lot of work to learn AI and doing a lot on his end, and he's got some pretty cool projects that he's been working on. So we're just excited to talk about AI and tell you guys how feasible it is, how entry level friendly it's getting, and different things you could do with AI.
Absolutely, absolutely. So um at first I had always just had these weird thoughts in my head, when they started talking about AI at the beginning of the generation. And obviously that started with Xbox. My friends, they were talking about Microsoft Flight Simulator. Okay. This game to this day still impresses the crap out of me because of how it uses AI to generate the world as you're flying through the whole world. Like it's just incredible. And I started thinking, I'm like, well, what if large language models could come into games and power the NPCs in there? Because we always hear it every day when a new open world game comes out. Everybody's like, oh, well, the NPCs are just stupid, they're lifeless, it feels empty. The same complaint that we've always had, and basically the same thing that most of us just ignore while we're in our sandbox games playing. Well, my friends, that era is actually coming to fruition, and it's getting cooler by the day. And there's a lot of work going on behind the scenes that even Clowns is taking part in. There's a lot of work going on behind the scenes. A lot of us, content creators, a lot of other people are actually utilizing AI every day to improve and speed up their workflows. And there's a lot of pushback, but I from what I understand, there's actually more use of AI in art, in writing, in game development, in game design, in just everything. And that's only the tip of the iceberg. Robots, robotics, cars, self-driving, everything. Like AI has really has really taken off. And the new, especially like being able to use agents, like multiple agents at once to control multiple different settings or multiple different things at a time. I'll let Clowns talk a little bit about that because that's something that like he's been really doing a lot, and it sounds very impressive.
Yeah, so with AI right now, it's pretty much where an end user, like any end user on Windows, Linux, or whatever operating system that you want to use, you can actually run agents in them, and they're making the agents a lot easier to run. Especially Microsoft, they're doing a lot with how they integrate with OpenClaw and Hermes, and they have desktop versions, so average users can run them. You got LM Studio, you can run out of the box. You got VLLM that you can run out of the box. There's so many different things. Llama for people that just want to get into it, want something click and go.
Yep.
It's just sets it up by itself for you, so it's super simple. And it kind of helps you pick out the models too. Like it's easy to download the models. You're not gonna have to go through Hugging Face, which may be more complicated to get used to it. But it's all there, and it doesn't matter what system you have anymore, because even on a cell phone, you can run a 4 billion perimeter model, like on the new Galaxies or on the iPhones. You could just run these things, and it's just a lot of fun. You sit there and you have an encyclopedia in your pocket that you don't have to connect to any cloud models. You don't have to worry about anybody like watching your data, and
Yep.
maybe you don't like that, age verification stuff run out. If you run it local, you don't have to worry about that.
Yep.
And I think that is the biggest benefit for businesses, medical providers, and consumers and families, is that if you run this stuff local, your privacy is protected.
Yep.
If you're a parent, it maybe right now it might be a little bit more technical, but if you're a parent, you can set up these models so that you can fine tune them so that your kids can't ask anything crazy to them. Like, you can actually fine tune that, right?
Yep.
So I had a friend, for example, that wanted specific teachings in his model fine tuned, because he doesn't like he doesn't like a lot of stuff that gets pushed out there. And he asked me to fine tune the model so that it focused on a certain set of beliefs, and I did that for him, and he was extremely happy with it. And it took a matter of like 3 minutes, creating a Soul MD or an Agent MD, and the model just picks it up from there. We're getting to the point now where you can actually have these models and you can talk to live virtual agents. Like, I could, if I wanted to, I can make a puppet of Frog Boy Gaming, and I could give him any voice I want, and I can sit there and talk on my phone or web browser, and I could be like, "Hey, Frog Boy, what's up?" And then all of a sudden, he could sound like Donald Duck and talk back to me, perfect lip sync. So it's
Nice.
just, where this is going. It's crazy. It's all automated. It's all convenient. It's all super easy. Now, I know there's still a lot of pushback, because first of all, I hear this one a lot. Oh, these data centers, they waste resources, electricity and water. Okay, let's put that rumor to rest. Maybe in the very very beginning, but they optimize that so much where they're now giving electricity back in certain cities, like,
Yep.
because they create their own electricity and they give it back to communities, which
Hmm.
should help lower your costs eventually.
Well, the crazy
When it
thing
comes
is I actually work for a company that builds the. I mean, it's a pipe fabricating company, man. They fabricate the pipe, and a lot of that stuff is going to these data centers that are popping up right now. Like, it's one of those things where like AI is getting bigger, and it's not only creating, AI, it's creating actual freaking shovel ready jobs that. mm, People are actually getting to like build these plants and power this industry. It's a lot more massive than a lot of people think, and yes, there is a lot of money being thrown at AI right now. And if you're not making a lot of money, you maybe consider moving over to like even the construction part of building these data centers is going to make you pretty good money, because a lot of these companies are union that are building them, and those that amount of money that you're going to be making is actually going to be pretty good. Like, you'll be able to buy, some of the stuff like Clowns was saying, and it's crazy. It is crazy. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I just wanted to say that because we
no,
were like right there, and I wanted to get that in there. So
No, I mean, yeah, the job creation market from this is phenomenal. A lot of people say, "Oh, well, people are losing their jobs," but like I said earlier, it's the ones that are complacent, that don't show up to really work, that are going to lose their jobs and higher risk of loss of jobs. It's the ones that just go in the office, do the bare minimum, stare at their computer, watch for lunch, and can't wait to leave. The first ones out the door, I think, are the ones going to be replaced. Now, I'm not saying that makes you a bad employee, but maybe just not happy where you're at. And that
yeah,
kind of transcends to your workflow, right? Like, that transcends to how you interact with your work. And if an employer can find an AI agent to do it more efficiently and cheaper and keep their best employees, they're going to do that. And
they're
that's
gonna
their prerogative.
they're gonna keep their prompters. The better you're at, the better you get at prompting AI, the more you can get out of AI. If you're just like, oh yeah, what's the fastest land animal? Yeah, you're gonna get a stupid response. But if you tell it, okay, I want you to become a professor of all things that move fast, and I want to know what the fastest, you got to learn to prompt AI. You got to give it its identity first. You got to tell it what it is, you got to tell it how it's going to respond, and how what parameters to stay in, and then that's going to return the best results to you. But if you're just like, oh yeah, well, what do I do with if it, do not ask AI questions. You tell it what it is, and then you extract its information because it has everything. Like it knows everything, but you just have to tell it how it needs to be to give you what you need so that you can be more effective. Now, the better you get at that, the more valuable you're going to become uh, as an employee, because AI, it's not the it's not bad. It is an incredible tool that will speed up your workflow significantly. It's crazy how fast it can make you do something. Like last night, guys, this was my first real AI project. I let me just show this. Let me just share this screen. I uh I was able where is it? Yeah, I was able to legitimately create a freaking a book. I created a book last night, and I legitimately published this on Amazon Kindle. I sat here for about, I think it was probably 8 hours. Like it was probably, it took me, well, maybe 6 to 8 hours. I was up till like 4 a.m. writing this book between an LLM on my machine and then Word with Copilot, and constructing this and bringing it together in a way that, like, absolutely. I uploaded a copy on Discord, so if you're on my Discord, you can read through it. And this is a story about a Viking child, well, Vikings, a family of Vikings that landed on the shore of Britain in around the 400 BC, right before the fall of Rome. And his parents are murdered by drunken Romans, and a centurion actually takes Varian under his wing and raises him up. And later, later in life, after he's been raised as like this bold, wonderful Roman that's like all about like justice and fairness and peace, and like instilled with like the greatest values and morals of Rome. His stepfather is basically betrayed by another centurion that comes and falsifies documents to Rome, and then has the Caesar come out and order for Gaius, the stepfather, to be taken back to Rome for an execution or a trial and an execution. And Varian's supposed to be put to death as a traitor, as an outsider, as like whatever. And so they try to kill Varian. He gets away. He takes him out, and then he goes, and then he runs into the Vikings, some of the other Vikings that his family was coming to see, and they tell him about his past and stuff. And like I literally sat here writing, and then having freaking um uh AI on my local LM helping me brainstorm, and giving me actual historical facts and stuff, so that we could, by the time it gets to the end, instead of like Rome falling and calling all the soldiers back, it essentially has Varian bringing all the Roman forces with him because they all want to join him and go and take down Rome for all of the atrocities and the injustices, and starving people and taxing and all kinds of stuff. Well, they go and they create like a revolution, and it's pretty cool. Like it's pretty cool. Like if you're in Discord, read the book or something, if you want to see that. But dude, this thing was, it was badass to be able to create that in seriously like 8 hours, and then publish it for sale on Amazon. And Amazon says, look, if it's AI, tell us you used AI. And it's simple as that, It copyrighted it. My goal is to actually turn this into a full-fledged RPG video game. That would be cool, because I don't think anybody's ever done the Roman Viking, bro. Like that's just badass to be able to sit there and like think about, because I'd always thought about that, because Rome was well before the Vikings actually came to Britannia and stuff. And so I don't know, man. Like I love history, I love Rome, I love Vikings, I love just all of that. Like Assassin's Creed's um my favorite franchise for a reason, and I just want to create something parallel with that, that's incredible, man. Like AI gives you this ability to create, and You don't have to know all the facts. Like you don't have to sit and read a freaking encyclopedia and do like thousands of hours of history training to write something like this. You can legit use AI as a tool with its embedded knowledge to help you do that. Like it's incredible.
Yeah, no, absolutely. This is one of the benefits of AI, right? Not to say that AI is always going to be correct or always accurate, but it is going to be very factual on a lot of information, and it's going to know a lot of stuff. And you can always fact check it in like other ways with search engines and whatnot to make sure that the information you get is proper. But it has a lot of information retained in its database, and it stores it. Depending on the quant you use, it could be compressed, but just readily available there. There's just like Frankie said, there's anything that you could just ask, pop up. Like for example, I've been messing with a lot of different variations on Hugging Face of people combining models, like they're distilling some models into each other. So it might have, let's say, Claude Opus thinking with DeepSeek with Quen as a background, and with Quen, they have these things called Vision. Gemma has Vision too, but like you can add it together, and you can on your Telegram app, your Discord app, however you have your agent connected, you can send in an image and say identify what's in this image. And
Yeah.
I took I took
It's
a cosplayer that I had filmed, and I asked my model provider, which was it was a mix of Quen. And I said, "What character is this person cosplaying as?" And it named the Zelda Ocarina of Time character perfectly fine. Like it took a matter of like maybe less than a minute because it's like a homebrew model and not like a frontier model. But it's just the fact that that information was in there. It found it
yeah,
and it answered it for me.
it's really
That's
good.
crazy.
Yeah, I use Gemini at work all the time with the camera, and man, if I need to find a part or something, because sometimes the part numbers, in a place like I work, it'll get rubbed off, and I could just take a picture of that, and it'll pop up, and it'll tell me like with any identifying marks or anything, and it will legitimately show you exactly what you need. Like I think that I really do. I think there's so many more uses for AI out there than people are giving it credit for. If you're using this shit as a meme generator, yeah, dude, like there's really not much to it. Like that's your understanding of AI leading you to the simplest, dumbest form of using it. It's like it's it's probably like the lowest form of using AI is a meme generator, or you've got to actually use AI in a way that's going to make you that's going to better you, and by doing the bare minimum to like generate pictures or memes or some stupid crap like that, like I mean come on, like yeah, it's entertaining and stuff and it may keep you busy, like it's in my opinion it's akin to TikTok, man, like just flipping through freaking TikToks all day. And yeah, that is pretty entertaining for the masses, to be completely honest, but if you want to raise above and be more and be able to utilize this new valuable tool that like the last generation, I mean the last era has basically been the information age, and now we are actually putting that information to solid use in the AI age, in the AGI is the next big leap that's going to transform a lot of things. And if you're not there, I'm 46 years old. How old are you, clowns?
46.
We're legitimately at a place where some of the if our generation essentially was that generation that like knew how to use analog before we got to internet, before we got to tech, to digital or whatever, having to use a phone and remember phone numbers and stuff like that, to a fully digital age where everything, we're pretty much the 45-year-olds of that time that pretty much got passed away with the internet, you know what I mean? And so us trying to like really double down on this, um if you're our age, yeah, absolutely start learning this stuff. Yes, it is confusing as crap at first and it is tough, but if you're younger, stop wasting your time hating this. This is your future. Like this is literally your freaking internet. This is like if you're like 15 years old to 15 to 25, You need to pay attention to this because this is the future. This is how you're going to make your money. This is going to dictate a lot of things in your life. And if you're not paying attention to this right now, if you're letting it pass you by, you are, yeah. And unless you're getting into a trade to build things or work with your hands, you need to know how to do this. This needs to be important to you. You can't just keep letting the the angry mob on YouTube because your Xbox costs $800 lead you away from this. You need to pay attention to this. This is very important for you, especially for you guys that are still in high school. You need to take AI seriously.
Yeah, I really do think that the future generations, and especially if you're of one of the future generations listening to this, that you should take heed and pay attention. I mean, you don't have to like it right now, but to at least understand it and see where it's going and how it can benefit you as a person is very important, because that's what companies are looking at. And I know there's a lot of people online that are protesting AI, and they're coming up with all sorts of reasons why it's not good. Anything that they can throw their hands on it, that they're against it. First of all, let me just, I got to be clear again, in case you didn't see the last video that Froggy put up, is that when it comes to companies, whether it's major studios, Hollywood studios, whether it's TV production studios, whether it's major streaming services, major comic book companies that are owned by major studios, listen, they're all at some point using AI.
Yep.
Okay, they're feeding so the one thing that I still hear a lot, I hear this almost every day, is AI is taking jobs away from artists. Let me tell you something. It's taking
No.
away jobs from Twitter artists, from people on X that claim they're graphic designers
Mm-hmm.
because they sit at home
And they
and
use
they don't
AI.
actually have a real job, and they sit at
Yep.
home, and they're saying they're being replaced by AI because everybody's using AI instead of hiring them for 50, I don't know, 50 to 80 bucks. Okay.
Yep.
Listen, if go out and get a job with a big corporation. When you do,
Mm-hmm.
you'll make big corporation money for being an artist. Now what's going to happen is you're going to draw for them. You're not going to own anything you draw. That's like, I mean, it is what it is. And they're going to take your art and feed it into a database, and that database is going to be an AI database. And
Yep.
in the future, your art, your style, or whatever you want to call it, is going to be in that database, and they're going to say, "Listen, we paid you to draw for us. We paid you a salary every year. We paid you, whether it's by the hour or contract terms, whatever. You accepted it. You
Yep.
knew this was our project. You knew this is our IP.
Yep.
So don't get mad if we're going to use it in AI. Like, I mean, let's just.
Yep.
I'm not saying. Let's just say. I don't know. I think of a character, Felix the cat. Let's just say, right,
Yep.
right. If Felix the cat's an AI, and you drew Felix the cat at one point in your life for a company, you don't own it, right? The
Nope.
company owns it. So don't get mad about that. Instead, find a way to capitalize on that. Maybe you are an artist at home. Maybe you are a graphic designer and you get mad at all these AI things, people using them for their YouTube channels that hire you. So instead, what you could do is there are companies hiring artists just like you to draw for them so they can
Yep.
feed it into a machine. And
Mm-hmm.
you don't have to draw anything like fancy. You could just do your doodles, whatever you like to do. And
Let's
there's a company out there that'll pay for you.
but let's define one thing because yes, digital art, yeah, pretty much the AI is the future. There's if you're using anything digital, everybody's using AI. But if you're the person that goes and paints a mural or uses physical materials to create art that is a physical thing, AI is not going to replace you. Like AI can't replace you because it's not digital. I mean, sure, it could print out a picture and you can stick it on a wall and that could be physical art, but to have somebody actually paint it, actually build it, actually, I mean, you can use AI to design, but most people, like Leonardo da Vinci, his paintings, yeah, like you have to have that individual artistic flavor to be able to do something like that. Whereas AI just broadens your horizons and helps you get to where you want to be significantly faster than you're ever going to be able to do that, like drawing, scrapping. I mean, trust me, like I used to be an actual tattoo artist. I know how to design and create images. I know how to do that on a piece of paper and then transfer that drawing to somebody's body and then tattoo that on them. Yeah, you could be I mean, it's the same thing as a slapstick. You know, you trace a freaking image that's already there, you stick it on somebody, and then you peel it off and you do it. Either way, if you want to transform your own artwork to somebody's body, then tattoo it, it's the same thing. You're designing that art, it is absolutely yours. But if you take a picture out of a book and you're working at a shop and somebody flips through the book and they're like, I want that one, you print it out, you draw it, you trace it, you stick it to the transfer page, and then you put it on them and then you tattoo it. It's still a tattoo. Like it still needed somebody to actually do that. Like people have been using this for a long time. There's always been some sort of tool or substitute. AI is the next level to help you get there faster, to help you fully realize your dreams. Writing that book that I did last night, I don't have all of that like exact knowledge and dates, what things are called. I don't know all of that. So I mean, having AI help me fill in the blanks and like help me like really design a story that's like, okay, this is what I want the story to be. Help me fill in the gap. Like help me fill in some of the stuff, and then let me proofread it and be like, oh wow, that actually is pretty good. You know what I mean? Like I would sit here and I would write out a bunch of stuff and then it would help me fill in the gaps. And it's cool. And then I read most of it and I was like, whoa, this is legitimately pretty dang good. I still need to do a full proofread of it, but it's like 90 pages and it came out good. Like I was quite surprised with what we actually had on that, which is pretty dang cool. Yeah, I'll let you talk for a minute.
Yeah, no, I mean, just to follow up on that, it's like you said, you just put in the information what you want to create and it fills in the gaps for you. So you don't have to do all that research manually. Like it helps you there. Like it just comes in and it combines it and it makes it a finalized project. And we're going to start seeing that a lot in game development too. I know there's going to be people
Mm,
pushing back. People are already upset about the frame gen stuff and I don't get it, but listen, it's
yeah.
it's happening. Like Unreal Engine has MCP servers, Roblox Studio has MCP servers.
Oh
You
yeah.
just connect AI to it and off you go. It creates something. It may not be the greatest thing right now, depending on the model that you're using, but it sets that basic ground for you to continue from. And that's all.
What do you say,
That's what AI
Canada?
is
You got
there to help
candy?
you utilize. And also, I
Okay.
just want to go back to the data center stuff that people talk about, like the water. And
Mm-hmm.
Satya Nadella came out and he said that, listen, it uses the same amount of water as one restaurant for the whole year because we use recycled water. So
Mm-hmm.
that's happening. We also going to have data centers up in space with Elon Musk and
Yeah.
SpaceX and NASA. That's going to happen. So that's going to keep it better environmentally controlled as
Yep.
well.
We're
I
gonna
just
have one right here in Utah in the middle of absolutely nowhere that yeah, dude. I mean, I don't mind the data centers at all. And obviously if they create nuclear power plants to actually power these things, it would be even better. But yeah, obviously you got to find a way to cool them and stuff. And the water, like you were saying, they recycle it and stuff. And there's different types of ways to, you know, once they get it built up, there's so much water out there in the ocean that we could like literally freaking they could absolutely find a way to transform that water to use it for cooling. Like there's just so many different options that using AI can help us achieve those significantly faster. And yeah, I do see a lot of the I do see a lot of the thing. There's this one guy that's going around right now. He's been on Moore's Law's Dead and a bunch of other places, and this dude's just out there trying to like really poo poo the whole idea of like AI and like saying it's going to crash and all of this stuff. It doesn't matter if it crashes. Okay. If the stock market crashes right now and drops back down, it doesn't matter. We have enough infrastructure right now that it's going to keep moving forward. Like if the prices crash, it doesn't mean that all of a sudden we're going to be like, oh, yeah, everybody's going to get free cheap RAM and all that stuff again. No, because now people like me and clowns and other people are actually utilizing AI at their houses. And we're still going to be buying these things. Like I said in a video the other day, I did an AMD video yesterday. I was playing Crimson Desert. In that video, I said that look, the gaming market's changing. I can definitely see APUs becoming the standard up to mid range PCs. I do feel like the enthusiast level is still going to be there, but these cards are no longer going to just come stock with 24 gigs or 16 gigs or 32 gigs. No, they are going to bump them up to a 98, 128. You're going to have so many gigs of VRAM on these cards that it's going to be pointless for gamers to buy them. They will be too much for an average gamer to buy, let alone the build the whole systems needed to actually power the AI that you're going to need at home to do this. You've got people out there buying two RTX 5090s and running them simultaneously to run this stuff at their house. And you can say that this stuff's not popular, but I look across mine and other gamer channels, their views, and then I look out across the other AI channels, the people that are actually doing this, and the views are better. The there's so much interest in AI using it at home because people want to be in the here and now and they want to be on the bleeding edge. But you have all these other people that are just they're not looking at things holistically. They're looking at like the price of their Xbox, the price of their PlayStation, the price of the little bit of hardware that they've got. And the biggest thing I can tell you is look, an Xbox for $800 is still going to deliver significantly more entertainment value over the course of its life than if it was $500. Like it doesn't matter. You're still going to get more freaking entertainment content at a reasonable price than any other form of entertainment on the planet. Like it is still cheaper. You're still going to be able to get your Game Pass. You're going to get your games cheaper. Even PlayStation at $900 in the greater scheme of things is you're going to get your value out of it. And that's why I think it's funny when people are like, "Oh man, it's too much money." I'm like, "Okay, like you're right. It might be too much money for you. Don't buy it. Don't buy it. Go get a fishing pole and learn how to fish. If it's too expensive, like I don't know what else to tell you guys, but this AI thing isn't slowing down anytime soon. Like yes, maybe the massive data center companies and stuff might pull back a little bit, might pull back some funding, might slow down their build out, something like that. But AI has already caught in a lot of people like wildfire. Trust and believe. Yeah, your average gaming channel, they're not understanding what's going on. But like when I was at CES, my friends, I'm not even joking. Like there was, yeah, everybody was like trying to. I mean, there was a few people trying to poo poo AI or whatever. But like when you would go to like one of the AI talks, everybody was there. Everybody was clapping. Everybody was excited. Like no, yeah, there's a lot of money out there in AI right now, and people want their part of it.
Yeah, AI is here to stay. It's not going away, and it just makes things so much easier. It's just the next thing on the technological evolution pole, and there's so much to talk about in AI from like these past few weeks. I mean, we have these open source models that Google's committed to the Gemma 4s. We got
Mm-hmm.
the Quen 3.6 out there as well. They haven't dropped Quen 3.7. We're all waiting for it. But DeepSeek version 4 Flash and Pro have open weights now. GLM 5.2 has open weights, and then we see people taking like a mix, like I said, of DeepSeek or like the Quens and putting them together. And then we have the frontier models like Anthropic and OpenAI, and lately some of the biggest news is that they've been held up because the models have become so intelligent that countries are worrying, governments are worrying, like how much information's in there, could it break other people's systems, that kind of stuff. And I have some strong opinions on this, Froggy. I don't know if you heard about any of this news, but some of the things that I worry about on this is the fact that right now AI is at the biggest part of its probably capital investment, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like all
Yeah,
these
yeah,
capitalists, venture capitalists want to be in on
yep.
AI.
It's all
And they
peaked right
think
now.
it's peaked. But
Mm-hmm.
if America starts holding back some of these models and say, listen, like, you can't come out for another couple months, we got to check it. Is it worth to keep subscribing to all these public frontier models? Like people going to be like, well, I'm paying $200
I
a month for
I
Claude's.
think this is part of the plan. Like I honestly look at things a lot differently. I think this is part of the plan. They're wanting you and me to actually start shouldering some of the stuff. They want us to actually this is the get the get the we're corporate America is already sold. Corporate America is already using AI in ways that we don't even understand. They have the smartest, brightest, best intelligent people working at these firms, working at these companies, they are using AI significantly better to outsmart us everyday average freaking Twitter freaking feed user people, um, TikTok brain people, man. Right now, the rollout is to try to get the masses into AI, into utilizing AI. And so right now, like obviously, AMD rolls out the whole kit. That's what I use. Okay, NVIDIA has the AI workbench. Okay, um, you just have all of these like community or like masses facing. Hey, get into AI, use it, learn how to prompt it, do that, use this. That's where we're at right now. Like corporate America and stock, they're already peaked. Obviously, you see how they're just feeding the money into each other and stuff like that because they have to. They have to keep it going. They have to keep it generating. They're just moving that money around so that the projects that need funding get funded, so that the build out can continue as planned. But they also need the masses to actually start buying into this, and that's why I feel like NVIDIA's 60,000 series, their 6090 will probably have 128 gigabyte standard. Um, for their 6090, it is no longer a gaming card. This is going to be the actual thing. They might do like a cut down version of it with like a gamer amount if they've got the chips, but I don't see them doing that. I don't see Nvidia throwing that level card at gamers. 6080 you might still get with a reasonable, like maybe 32 gigs of VRAM or something like that. They might actually consider matching that, um, because 32 gigs would still give that enthusiast level gamer the ability to start playing around with AI. You know what I mean? That gives you 32 gigs gives you a pretty decent amount of parameters that you can actually bring in a couple of models and like really play around. Like you can really get some stuff done. Obviously, CUDA is the biggest platform for AI, and so a lot of these programs are going to run, pretty efficient on NVIDIA. But there's don't poo poo AMD though. I'm using AMD. Strix Halo is incredible. Do not completely count it out. Rockham is actually really damn good. That's what Clowns is using on his framework, 128 gigs. I'm using obviously my 9070 XT right now for a lot of it. Um, I would use the NVIDIA, but it's just too damn hot. It's just too damn hot in the summer to use that. So I'm using my AMD build. Hopefully, I'm looking into getting Strix Halo myself so that I can actually start running models on that because that'll be a lot cooler, a lot quieter. Um, but right now is the phase where we're trying to get. I say we're because I'm actually interested in using AI. It's actually incredible, man. It's so fun, and it gets your brain snapping like pop 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 pop. And if you're ADD like me, like it's just like woo. You just keep feeding it all these ideas. You don't even have to type it. You can talk to it. You can talk to it and it will do things and it will control your PC. Like I was legitimately using Copilot. I freaking love Copilot, guys. Everybody wants to like say Copilot's trash, dude. Like these are people that are so. It's like they're very smart people. Okay, your favorite YouTubers are smart, obviously, but for them to be going so negative against this for short term personal gain, oh man, I wish they would just. I wish they would like really sit down and think about it because look, like I just said, the value of your Xbox, the value of your PlayStation, the value of your freaking GPU, your gaming setup, all of these have intrinsic value. I have so many games on my systems that look, and the power to run them all. Like gaming is one thing, yes, I get it, but also being able to support and feed your family, having a tool like AI, oh my gosh, it's incredible. It's truly incredible. Now I don't use it a whole lot for the channel because I don't write scripts or anything like that. I give you everything impromptu. But I do want to be able to make that puppet little toxic toad and bring his ass back and have him like pop up on the screen and like legit debate me or insult me or something while I'm doing like like I'm talking about like AMD. He's like dressed in a freaking Nvidia shirt, and he's like spouting frame rate X shit at me, you know what I mean? Like it would be funny. It would be funny, I could get into all my comments, take all of Frame Rate X's public posts now, and feed them into an LLM and make that be toxic toad, like just spouting off that Nvidia nonsense while I'm talking about AMD. Like that would be funny. It would be entertaining. Like it would be firmly placed in my entertainment content playlist. You know what I mean? Just use the negativity again, to create something in exciting, man. Like this the AI, dude. Like we're right at the beginning. I mean, I've been trying to learn this stuff for a while. I've just been like unsure of how to, try to do things. But honestly, I will say the jumping on NVIDIA's AI workbench definitely helped understand a lot. That's going to teach you literally like from step by step. I'm hoping the AMD can get something like this too, because this thing literally teaches you step by step, but it's long and it's a commitment. Whereas AMD, the AI package that you download, you could just jump into freaking LM Studio. It'll you throw in it just auto. It's almost like an auto complete stuff. It's like pretty easy to use, and I'm using it on Windows. Obviously, you could probably use it better on Linux. Better Linux support for AMD. So that's something that we're looking into too. Obviously, we're getting a Steam machine as soon as that comes out, so that we can start getting familiar with the Linux setup. Clearly, I tried to convert a couple of Windows machines over, but yeah, you're right. I could go out and spend a whole bunch of money and build another whole rig, but I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that right now, and I don't want to give up one of my rigs right now because they're all doing their own little thing. So I don't want to change one of those over to Linux just yet until I fully understand what I'm actually doing.
Yeah, I just want to say, like, these companies, like AMD, they really do have a lot of information out there on their websites on getting into AI development, different courses that you could take through the websites. They tell you about different upcoming events for AI. So a lot of this stuff is just really cool that they're doing this. That they want to. It's like, in a sense, they're helping you learn about this new technology. And AMD offers you developer credits for like the different cloud systems that you could try out with some of the, what is it, the MI, I'm gonna get the, I'm probably gonna say it wrong, MI 3000X series cards.
Mhm.
But yeah, they got these servers that you could try out, and it's just really neat that these companies are doing that for you, because a lot of
Yeah.
this information is not. I mean, there's not a lot of people out there really teaching you, except outside of YouTube, outside
Hmm.
of like maybe online courses. Like, you're not gonna find a lot of this stuff at your educational institutions right now. Like, there's some
Yeah.
basic courses, and they're always going to be behind. That's, I mean, that's something that was
Like way
brought up the
behind
other day
too. Hmm.
on X. Like, these professors, they're just behind on this
Yeah, dude,
AI
I've been
stuff.
I've been trying to find like that's what I've been spending the majority of my time doing is like trying to figure this out. And finally, I just threw my hands up and I was like, you know what, man, I'm just downloading the AMD kit. I'm gonna do it. I'm downloading freaking NVIDIA's freaking AI workbench. I'm gonna figure this out because there's not a good enough starting point for anybody to learn from. So you kind of just have to jump in and not know what you're doing. And being able to being able to download AMD's kit is so incredible. That's why I'm like, okay, start with AMD, very easy. It's literally like you just load into it and you just start doing what you want. Like it almost pretty much does it for you. Whereas with NVIDIA, it's going to teach you step by step how to actually create the workbench, actually find the models and stuff that you want to put them in there. Like trust and believe, like doing it the NVIDIA way with the actual tutorial that they have, that is going to teach you a lot and it is going to give you everything, but it is going to take you some time and commitment to get through that workshop. I'm probably like through 6 or 7 of the nodes, and there's a lot of them. There's a lot of them, and they get more difficult as you go. And some of it's not explained very well. Like it took me a minute to like figure a lot of that stuff out, because it doesn't really. I'm sitting there, with uh, Copilot trying to figure stuff out at the same time. And guys, Copilot is very useful as a tool that's already just installed on your PC. You can just pop in there, you can pull it up, and you can ask it questions, and it will help you. Like it is very useful. Um, the recall stuff, yeah, dude, people make a big deal about so much stuff. Because yeah, you're right. You're right. AI, they could absolutely use this shit for evil. They could absolutely use this shit to control you. But if you learn how to use AI, then you can use it to fight back. If AI becomes a thing where everybody's using it and everybody's fluent in that new language of the future, then it's a lot harder for them to use that to control you. It is because right now AI is significantly smarter than probably all of us in terms of the knowledge that it has. Okay, and once you get to AGI and it starts thinking for itself and reasoning and doing all of this stuff, that yeah, it's pretty possible, dude. I'm pretty sure they've got like I'm pretty sure like some of these labs have got some badass AI that's like way more advanced than anything that they're allowing the public to use at this point. And so, yeah, like be afraid, take it seriously, use AI to better yourself and benefit you before you don't have that ability anymore. Is pretty much where I'm sitting with it because yeah, dude, like I am a little bit of a conspiracy theorist, but at this point right now, I think the AI it's not new. Let's just be real, it's not new. These companies have been using this for a long time, and they're already pretty damn fluent in this language. But now they're giving us the possibility to learn because they need bodies for the factory. You know what I mean? They need their little bodies for the factory. And look, we're all on this planet, and we all need a little bit of freaking money, obviously to survive, unless we want to get out there and fend for ourselves and plant our own crops and build our own houses and dig our own wells and all of that stuff, man. We still need our social justice, our social contract in order to survive and make things and make it through things. And this is just the newest frontier of humanity. And I believe that. I believe that. I don't think it's just freaking corpo freaking marketing speak, bro. I legit think everything that I've been able to do with AI just on my own has got me feeling like, okay, wow, this is incredible tools. Why wouldn't you use this? You're gonna
So
show us?
I'm gonna show you my Hamdy bot. I named him after AMD. Hamdy, Hamdy. Uh, I I have this. I don't know if you can see the screen, but this is running on the local framework desktop computer.
It's not showing me anything yet.
And no,
Oh, I gotta watch the stream. Okay, here we are.
all right. So I'm posting an image. I'm gonna ask it who's in the image. Now let's see if this works. I just brought it up while we were talking. I didn't have it running for a long time, so I'm gonna ask it, and it should start thinking. Okay, the gateway's up, which is good. Means the gateway's up.
And this is
So
Hamdi.
this is Hamdi, my little assistant that helps me throughout the day.
And what model is it
So it's
using?
using the Vision.
Vision.
It's using a Quen based Quithos, and supposedly it's distilled with some Fable reasoning. I don't know how true that is, but Emero is the one that distilled this and put it on Hugging Face. So we're gonna see how well and how quickly this works. This might take a little bit longer because he just kind of booted up, but he's gonna essentially what it's supposed to. There we go. It's
Elon
coming in.
Muskie. Juggernaut. the first trillionaire. Trillionaire.
Yeah, so it can tell you who these images are, and I have web search enabled as well. I have what they call Vein running in the background, which is formerly Perplexica, which they had, I guess, changed the name because confusing with Perplexity.
So are these
But it's
all like Telegram and Victoria and all that stuff? Is that like, are these other people or something?
so uh, this is yeah, these are Telegram things like different bots. This is just spam. I think that's just spam.
Oh.
But so I'm going to now ask use the web search function and find a top news article for today. And then we should see that it's going to be using web search here in a moment. And this is just how cool local AI has gotten, right? Like I'm not even using a Frontier model. I'm not even using Frontier servers. The search went through my own computer as well, which is what Vane does through Seer XNG. So I'm not using like a Google API key or any of those keys out there. This is all running on my own machine, and the search came from my own machine, and it formatted it into JSON for Hamdi, my personal assistant. And you
Nice.
can even say like, tell me a joke, and it should come up with a joke.
Because they make
There you
everything
go.
up. Uh-huh. Tell it to tell us a bedtime story. Man, this is like one of the first things I did when I got Bixby on my Samsung phone. I've been playing around with the AI ever since like Bixby came out, man. I was like, "Oh, dude, that's cool," but it was so limited in its function and stuff. And now you get to a point where like the new Samsung phones are going to have MPUs and stuff like that, so you'll be able to run things a little bit better. Like it's just such a cool, freaking fascinating tool that I think that more people should actually take advantage of, and not use it like this right here. What we're doing is pretty much Twitter brain or TikTok brain. Tell us a bedtime story. You can have yeah, you can actually have it. I actually had AI look me up too, man, and it told me that I'm
You
pretty
came up
fascinated.
you came up as the first result.
Yeah, who's Frog Boy Gaming? It's pretty badass. It even told me like it even like when I was looking for like my thing, it was telling me like, oh my gosh, Frog Boy's going viral, and it was
Oh, when
pretty.
you had the GTA leak.
Yeah, dude, it was freaking wild, man. I was like, gosh dang. And then you can ask AI, like, hey, what do you think about this guy? And it like gave me like this whole synopsis and stuff. I was just like, damn, dude. Like use AI, look yourself up, my friends. Like it's I was pretty excited about writing that book. Okay. And my goal is to actually turn that book into a video game. I would love to create like this RPG video game. And what Clowns was telling me is that I could actually use large language models inside of UE5 to actually do the legwork for me. And so that is something that I will be looking into. I'm gonna, do I have to pay like a fee to use the developer thing on UE5? I'm not sure if I think you can just download all
I
that
don't think.
stuff. I think you can just
Yeah, I
download it
don't
from
think for
Epic
the.
Game Store. I think you could just
Yeah, they
you
only take a cut if you sell so many.
I think you could publish on Epic, no problem, but publishing to like Steam would probably be a little bit. They probably make it a little bit harder for that. But that would suck, man, because I would absolutely love to create a freaking cool ass video game. Because
Yep.
I've got my LM Studio. If I pull this over here, because so this is like the LM Studio, like game mechanics and stuff that I've been looking for, in my actual game and stuff. We wrote the book, Raven Beneath the Eagle, and I started, trying to, brainstorm a way to turn this into an RPG. And this runs right here, on your local thing. So if I put in, let me big screen this for a moment, and then I put in, oh wait, I don't think you can see it, can you? Let me
Let me see.
I'll just
No.
share my screen real quick. I'll share my screen, and then let me pull it back up real quick, and I'll put it over here, and I'll make that a full screen, and then I will just show you guys this. Share. Okay, so here we are in this right here. So this is my thing. So I this is literally on my machine. So it'll look it up. Um and It'll basically start thinking. It'll show you, it shows you all the thinking right here. You can also copy that thinking. Phase guide for more lore, the game designs, architectural blueprint. See, it basically will break out like everything that you need to do. And then you take these first steps, like this individual one. Okay, so, and then you'd be like, okay, expand step one. You're still deep dive, creating the blueprint. Now this will tell you like everything you need to freaking complete. Like it's just incredible. Like would anybody even know how to do this? I mean, like seriously, you tell it, you know, you're like, I want you to be a master game designer. What would you do first? If I are get back over here, pop this back up. And this is all on my just my PC running off of, look how fast that is. Like you get like all of this. So my posture changes instantly. Tone becomes crisp, energetic, and highly structured to focus on purely mechanical implementation. I am no longer an academic. I am a lead developer. So now it knows what it is, and now it's going to tell you how to do this. And then you tell it, you know, then you could tell it something like, okay, break it down for me in like retard terms or dummy terms or something like that. You know what I mean? Like it's absolutely freaking let me okay, wait, stop sharing. Yeah, stop sharing. So you can basically have it do, you can use AI as a tool. And if you don't think that developers are utilizing that to build your video games or to write your movies or to design your art or some of these other things out there, you're crazy. And if you think you're going to tell them not to do that, like you want them to do everything by hand, that's crazy. Like look how fast that there helps you brainstorm ideas for a game, you know, you give it the prompts, you tell it how to think, you tell it what it is, and then you tell it like, look, you are the master developer, like you've done this for 100 years, like how do you teach somebody that's brand new how to do this stuff? And then obviously like, well, Claude and stuff can write code, or some of these other things that can write code. Even I think even Copilot can understand and code inside of Windows. Did you know that?
Uh, I never tried it inside of Windows to code
More like what
inside
Windows,
of Windows. I
like Windows apps and stuff. Like it was like it would literally, I would tell it, okay, you know, because I thought it was just going to be like, okay, how do I like for the book I was like, well, how do I freaking format this? And it legit will format everything for you. Like some functions don't work yet, but a lot of the functions are actually controllable by Copilot on certain Windows apps.
oh wow,
Yeah, like formatted the whole
that's
book and everything for me. I was like, holy crap, dude, this
yeah,
is badass.
that's impressive. I know that GitHub Copilot Pro or Pro GitHub Pilot, whatever it's called, they have a version of that that can actually code inside of GitHub, which is really cool for developers. I mean, like they made it more expensive now, though, unfortunately. But hey,
Well,
it's
yeah,
there, and you
everything
know,
is
it's
gonna, the
native.
price is gonna go up. Obviously, they're still trying to work on a model to how to monetize this as well, because look, it does take a lot of money to gather all that information, to buy all the freaking all the hardware necessary to run these models and stuff. Honestly, what Amazon's doing with building, you know, their specific chip for their specific, you know, tasks and stuff is going to bring down some of the costs and stuff for them. But developers, AI developers are learning the exact same lesson that video gamers have been learning for a long time about Nvidia is a brute force truck designed to do everything. Whereas something like AMD is more like curated toward gaming right now. And then obviously they are starting to get more serious about the whole AI thing. That's why, obviously our RDNA 3 started doing AI accelerators, then RDNA 4 now has actual FP8 accelerators. And then obviously RDNA 5 UDNA will probably have significantly better. It's going to be more expensive, guys. Like, it is going to be more expensive, but it is going to be more powerful. We are going to see a pretty decent leap in performance, both NVIDIA and AMD, with this next generation of hardware, but it is going to be gamed. It is going to be targeted far more towards AI, in my opinion. Especially right now,
Well,
like the next generation not coming out for a little while longer, it's going to be more focused toward AI.
I think with Nvidia, or what I'm sorry, what AMD is doing right now is that, first off, you realize that the cost to compute is very affordable compared to other brands out there. I'm not
Yep.
saying that other brands are bad. I'm just saying that AMD is a lot more affordable for entry level and for end consumers and
Yep.
businesses to
Absolutely.
pick up, buy, and throw it into whatever AI use they want to use. And AMD is great for gaming, and it is great for AI now. Like
Yeah.
I'm running AI stuff on my RDNA 2 1600 XT.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I got that to work with AI pretty well. And now you got these Halo boxes coming out. It's cheaper than other comparable products, which is great.
Oh
And
yeah,
then
dude.
you're gonna have the Gorgon. Hopefully, I said it correctly, coming
It's I
out, and
think it's
that's gonna be.
I think it's AI Halo is what they're calling it. The AI, the new one, the new little one that they got coming out. You could probably get two of those for the price of one DG or RTX Spark.
Well, I think the RTX Sparks are around 4600, and I think the Halo boxes are going to be around 4 grand.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah. Okay, maybe I misspoke. I think, well, yeah, because even for Strix Halo right now for 385 AI Max is, I think framework starts at like 13 or 1259 or something, and that's just for that with 32 gigs.
yeah, and it definitely varies, I think, depending on what your setup and how much RAM you want. And those are costs I think that no company can get away from right now, is the RAM prices. It is what it is. If you cut it too low, they're not going to be in business anymore. So
Yeah,
unfortunately, that's just the cost of getting into this as of right
yeah.
now. I've seen people go out and spend, like, I mean, insane amounts of money, but they also own companies and they get grants. But I've seen people on X in the AI community spend almost like 100 grand on this stuff, and I'm like, wow,
Oh
it's
yeah.
that's crazy.
It is
Like, I
crazy and
mean,
it will add up pretty fast. But if you're making money on it, you know what I mean? And like, you don't even need to make money on it. Like, you can legit use this as a hobby, man. Like, being able to have that much knowledge to be able to like build a video game. I mean, like, you can have it tell you how to do stuff step by step, which is pretty cool. Or like you were saying, you could probably load models into UE5 to have them do the coding and stuff for you.
that's true, yeah, and it kind of makes up for itself in that aspect, especially if you're a business or an enterprise trying to run servers. But one thing I really want to hammer down is that AMD is definitely cost effective for compute
Um,
when you think about it compared to other brands, because you can buy it at a steeper discounted price, or steeper lower price, however
mm-hmm.
you want to say it,
Yep.
and get into AI with it. And I think that's the magic of it, right? Like, this is where the consumer benefits the most. This is where business benefits. This is where, I mean, even schools could benefit from these type of price discounts on this hardware. So
Oh
I
yeah.
just think that what AMD has been putting in the pipeline, they've been cooking. They haven't really, they haven't come out and shown the way that Nvidia has come out and shown.
Yeah.
And it kind of like taking a back approach. It's like, hey, let's cook on this stuff, and then when we have it out, we're gonna show it off. And
Yeah.
we've seen that with these Halo boxes, and like, I think these things are fantastic. And one of the next projects that AMD is working on is 192 gigabytes of unified RAM. That's going to be
Yep.
really cool for a lot of people.
Damn, that is
And
pretty
these things
badass.
are,
The unified
yeah,
just
it's
makes
just
it so much better too, because you just have like, it's all right there, man. It's instantaneous. Like, you look at like how many tokens and stuff you can get like so quickly on this. Even on my 9060 XT or 9070 XT, bro. Like, this thing just like flies through. I mean, seriously, just you prompt and boom, you got a freaking full page of dialogue, useful dialogue fairly quickly. Like, it is fast. I mean, I would say, using Copilot versus, my local LLM, it's it's pretty comparable in the time it takes to get like a response. Depend with Copilot though, if you're using like web-based LLMs, during like peak time, it might actually slow down for you. Whereas your PC, um, you're going to stay pretty consistent most of the time. Has been my experience so far. It's just been pretty consistent. Whereas I've actually had, like Copilot tell me, "Oh, I can't create any more pictures for you today. Sorry, come back tomorrow."
Yeah, that's that's one of the things that when it comes to frontier models is that we're going to run into is token limits depending on your price plan. And again,
Yeah,
that's the benefit of local AI. Like if you can run Cockpit UI pretty well with image gen and video gen, like LTX 2.3 or WAN 2.2, I think they might have a new one out. But I mean, it just makes it a lot more fun. Yes, that part of it is entertaining because you can create so many different skits or jokes or cartoons with it, but
yeah,
it's just great to know that you can run it on local hardware. Nobody's watching your data go through. Nobody's seeing what you're creating or questioning what you're creating. Your
nobody's seeing your
ISP's not
prompts.
getting like yeah, they're not getting tidbits of this information. It's on your local network. So
Yeah,
you could just like you could take your mom and put goofy hats on your mom or your kids or whatever. And you don't have to worry about that data leaving your computer. And I think right
hmm,
now, I want to give a shout out to Donato because Donato Capitello, hopefully I said your last name correctly, but he has his whole channel on Strix Halo and he created the Strix Halo toolkit. And he has things in there to run Comfy UI. So people on AMD, if you're listening to this, you can check out some of that stuff. And I hope Frogboy gets into some of that as well
oh, absolutely.
in
Gonna
the
be
future. Yeah.
I'm gonna be. I want so I got a lot of use cases that I want to use AI for. Obviously, I really do kind of want to write some more books, but that was like a really quick thing. It just like an idea come to my head, like one of my ADHD moments, and I'm just like, oh yeah, and I get like super highly focused into it, and I could just boom pop it out. Yeah, I would love to do more projects like that. Obviously, I want to be able to, like I was saying, create like you know toxic toad, for my videos and stuff, have him just be able to jump in and like be there, like after the fact, like I record my video and then I just play it through and then have him jump in there and do some stuff like that. That'd be pretty cool. There's something that I absolutely believe. I watch a lot of the Y files, and he's got like the fish in there that does that, but I had this idea before I ever even found that channel, and so I don't feel like I'm taking an idea from him. But um yeah, there's just so many different use cases. Obviously, I would love to learn how to program a video game. That would be pretty dang cool. Obviously, I would have to recruit you to do some voice acting and junior. I'm just we'd
Hey, listen, I'm here to give some free voice acting as well, but
probably
I
just use
just
AI
I
to
mean
fill all
those
that in. You know what I mean?
yeah. Those those things are really cool. They like you mentioned like creating a little cartoon character to pop up and just kind of go back and forth with you. I mean that makes entertainment, right?
Yeah,
And you don't have to I'm not trying to say don't hire artists if you have the money to, but a lot of animators might be very expensive to hire a good animator, but if you can use local AI and do it yourself, I mean you're creating your own type of
yeah,
project, which is
it's
really exciting.
exactly. I mean, it's like your own mind, your own creativity is like truly unlocked. Barriers that used to prevent you from doing things are no longer a barrier. Like you no longer, I mean, like obviously there's the freaking, learning, the steep incline to learning how to do some of this stuff, but a lot of these things are starting to get to a point where they're starting to make them pretty plug and play as well. But obviously those are going to have limitations, or you might have to pay a subscription fee for some of that stuff. But to just be able to get in there and start playing around with things and break down these walls that have prevented you from doing what you want to do, like this is the new age of creativity, human and machine mixed together with so much intrinsic knowledge that you have at your fingertips now. I mean, trust me guys, we've been using Google for the longest time for research
Oh
papers and
yeah.
stuff. Now we actually have a model that can like legitimately pull everything you need right to one center and then just hammer down and help you like legitimately research things faster than ever. I mean, the, I know that your eyes gloss over every time you hear like the execs on the stage talking about how like they'll be able to find medical treatments and stuff like that. Um, but when you've got multiple different countries that have different approaches to medical, whether it's traditional medicine, whether it's new age medicine, whether it's like ancient remedies, you pull all of that together, and it really does, kind of help, speed things along and get things to market faster. My son passed away at 7 months from spinal muscular atrophy, and the advancements in that treatment just since he's passed away in 2010, they've actually found a way to actually restore some of the neural function. Um, from the last thing that I saw, uh, they've actually found new treatments that could have prolonged his life even longer. And to speed that up, faster with the use of AI. I don't see AI as a negative, but I do see negative people using AI in negative ways to like, yeah, I don't know. Like I am skeptical about that stuff, but I don't go into AI with a negative mindset. I go into AI with a forward thinking, good mindset. And I hope that a lot of other people, go into it the same way, because just as I can use AI, other people can use AI.
I have to agree there. I think that the use of AI for medical intervention and medical use is an amazing fact. Sorry to hear about your son. And I think that when we gear towards AI, these AI machines or these AI databases that are going to pull information together and network with other hospitals or universities and other systems in breaking edge research, we're going to find out so much quickly, so fast that some doctors don't even like to think outside of the book. Like they go to, they get their doctor's degree, um, MD, and they just stick to what they were taught. But now with AI, doctors can go to AI and say, "Hey,
I'm
my
having this
patient has
problem.
this or
Yep.
has this problem," and it might say, "Hey, did you check this test? Did you do this genetical test?" Like so many other things that could pop up
Yeah,
now,
exactly. It just
and
brainstorms so fast that like I've used it a couple times because in my line of work, as a maintenance guy, I have to do a lot of um I have to do a lot of like figuring things out, like when a machine breaks down, there's so many different things that could potentially be the thing. And sometimes, in the heat of the moment, you're probably not thinking about everything, and so you just, you take a second, you ask, you give AI a prompt, you tell it the symptoms, stuff like that, you give it the information, and obviously tell the AI that, hey, you're a master mechanic, blah blah blah. And then it will like go through like so much data that's on the internet, and it will help you like narrow things down, or even give you ideas to check stuff. That's it saved my ass a couple of times, and helped me get through some pretty interesting um, experiences where I had to diagnose the problem, and then get it fixed, man. Like AI, even as a mechanic, can help you, because these things are getting a lot more they're getting a lot more complex. Like before, like you could tear like a 60s car apart, put it back together, pretty easy, man. Like it didn't have a whole lot of stuff. Like nowadays you've got like so many freaking sensors that pretty much the sensors go out before the mechanical problems do. They've actually got, you know, the mechanical part down pretty good nowadays in vehicles. These things are lasting significantly longer than they ever have. But the sensors, man, the sensors wear out, or the sensors will give you faulty readings or something like that. And um, a lot of it has to do with the whole emissions and stuff that they put into a lot of these cars these days. So you'll start to have, like readings and stuff, and now you need like fancy computers and stuff to check. But you can also use AI as a sidestep to to tell it, hey, this is the problems that it's having, and then it can like go through and think about everything, and then give you like some suggestions. And it's pretty good. Like it's pretty fast, and it will help you.
yeah, and this is why I think kids today and generations today, whether you're graduating, whether you're in high school, I think you should take the benefit and opportunity to learn AI. Like I said, you don't have to like it, but at least learn it, understand how it functions, and maybe from there you'll get a better idea that it's not going to take over the world and do anything crazy because it still needs a
Yeah,
human behind it. And I think even when we get to AGI as well, I think there's going to be safe faults in the system. It is primarily going to be government and corporate control, so
I
there's
know
going to
how
be
to pull out a plug. Don't just
yeah, like yeah, just like there's going to be safety mechanisms in there. So I'm not scared of it. I don't think it's going to turn into the Terminator.
as long
And
yeah, as
like
long as they never create a robot that has nuclear power that can legit go for like 20 years, I think we're good. I mean, as long as they have to be
yeah,
recharged every day, I think we're good, bro. They'll run out of battery eventually, and you turn all the chargers off. You know what I mean? Pull the plug. I I I mean, yeah, like there's trust and believe, like, yeah, Terminator was one thing, but we would be dumb to create a thing that could legitimately sustain itself on power. Then you would have to worry. Then I would start worrying a little bit. But I don't think AI will ever really truly become sentient to a point where like it would take over the world. But there's so much out there in pop media and culture and stuff. So it's like, yeah, like AI will hallucinate. Because it hallucinates and it'll be like, yeah, I'm gonna take over the world and this, and like it'll have like these ideas. But in order for it to actually do that, I think there would be a lot more steps involved, and it would need actual freaking human assistance to be able to do a lot of that stuff. Or everything would have to legitimately be AI controlled, like a big mainframe or something that it could like tell the robots to go and do this or that. But there would still be human resistance. I don't know. I
yeah.
I mean, it could
There will
it could
always
it
be.
could probably affect our power grid. It could probably yeah, I mean there are some things that it could potentially do that would be catastrophic, or at least create, in a massive famine or problem or something, but it could also mitigate a lot of problems too. You know what I mean? Like it could also mitigate a lot of problems.
Yeah, there's just I mean, it's just an endless idea of what you could do with AI, what you could achieve. And you know, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I haven't touched code since Visual Basic 3 Pro during the AOL days, right? And that was like a modified Visual Basic. It wasn't even like a vanilla Visual Basic.
Yeah,
And people used to send me what they call .bas files, BAS, and I would work off of that to create something. I haven't programmed since then, and I wasn't super good back then either, like, but I knew how to edit stuff and put it together. But now with AI, it's just I'm pumping out so many different things. And I know people are like, oh, what about security? I build security first. Like, that's the first thing I look for. I make sure everything's secure. I check it over my network. I look for holes. I test with multiple AIs. Can it break this? Can it break that? Is it going to affect somebody's computer? Is it going to affect? No, I check all that. So I build with security first in mind. I have a plan. I orchestrate it. Like, I built the Shorts creator for content creators, which they're going to put up soon. And you just throw a video in there, like me and Froggy talking right now. He could just take this in the future and throw it up on there, and it'll format it the way he wants it. Whether he wants our heads on top of each other or he just wants it focused on him when he's talking, like it could do that. I mean, this is done with AI, and I did that with AI. And you know
exactly.
what? It competes with Opus Clips and all those others out there, right?
Yep.
So if I can do something like that, just imagine
Mm,
what you could do. The
yeah.
possibilities are endless.
It is, and I look forward to like continuing to like gain knowledge and utilize this. And like I said, we're gonna do this every Sunday, to try to talk about like our projects that we've done throughout the week, and try to get you guys kind of excited about this. In at least in terms of like, I don't want it to replace gaming ever. Like, trust and believe, guys. I love gaming, and it's like that is my hobby. But AI is something that's like really important to me at this point right now. I feel like I feel like we are on the new frontier, and obviously I wish I would have jumped on sooner. I wish I would have been more in the now before, instead of just, coming home from my work and jumping on my P or on my PlayStation or my Xbox and just playing my video game. Because a lot of time has passed, man, and being getting older and stuff and trying to get into this stuff is always going to be a challenge, because the learning curve is, pretty steep sometimes. It's taken me over 5 years just to get to where I'm at right now with the YouTube channel to be able to, use all the programs and stuff that I do. And trust me, man, I started this channel with a PS5. And so when I hear people talking about how PS5 and PS5 Pro aren't worth the money, I'm like, dude, you can like legit start a YouTube channel on a PlayStation. You can edit everything on your PlayStation. You can basically you could basically build videos right there on your PlayStation, upload them directly to YouTube and start a YouTube channel. Like it's something that you can actually do right now. You can live stream from it, everything. And so I look at that and I'm like, look, there's so much value left in the current hardware that we have. And so when I hear people, just basically saying, "No, man, it should be cheaper," I look at it as like, "Okay, yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. It should be cheaper." Um, and traditionally it is. And I don't deny that. And it would be stupid and crazy to deny that, but at the same time, this hardware is significantly better than we've ever had before. Significantly better. There's a lot more utility to what we have now, and especially with something like the Xbox, you just have 4 generations of games that you can actually play on that hardware. And the next generation of hardware or software is going to play on that too. That's 5 generations. PlayStation has 2 generations that you could play natively, with the ability to stream all 5 generations. So there's plenty of utility in these consoles. Obviously, Nintendo Switch can play Switch 2 games. Backward compatibility is obviously a big thing, with the current hardware, and that will continue into the next generation. But I do honestly think that you'll see so much more scalability from this generation games onto next generation. I think that this hardware will still be usable throughout the next generation. I think that PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo, I think they are all really looking at that, being like, okay, we need to deliver a new console that can do more, but at the same time, we need to have scalability baked in so that everything's built for current gen hardware and scaled to next gen. You know what I mean? Like maybe next generation you get like this generation you get like vanilla games that we've gotten this whole generation, but next generation you get the inclusion of like LLMs in your games, or just something that's like, like better upscaling, better ray tracing performance, better stuff like that. Because I think visual wise we're already good. Clearly, better performance next generation. But honestly, guys, gaming the way it's going and stuff right now, I see AI becoming more of a daily use thing for most people anyways. So yeah, I don't know how to bridge that gap and, help people still continue to be happy with gaming, but at the same time, not be so negative towards AI, because AI is the future and you need that, but you also still want to enjoy your games and be able to afford to do that. So look, man, AI is already making it possible for upscaling to essentially take a 540p image and turn it into 4K, and it looks like 4K.
Yeah, it's just
And
so
I
many
do
different
and I
amazing things.
and I do have the hardware to see what native 4K looks like versus what upscaled PlayStation 5 looks like. And it's pretty damn close.
They've gotten really good with the way that they can generate upscale and they can generate frames. I mean, it's very
Mhm.
efficient and it's affordable too, right? Like, so if you can generate it and upscale it and it saves costs for the consumer and the company, why not do it? I mean, you can sit there and get mad about it all day, but you're saving money in the long run. And most people today don't have the money to go out and spend all this extra money on consoles that could typically do real true 4K, or even graphics cards that could do real true 4K at great frame rates. It's getting more
Yeah.
expensive and people are trying to save money. So if you can do it on a console with upscaling or frame gen, you're getting a good experience and you're saving money and it's still entertaining. So at the end of the day, I don't see why people complain about that. I think it's a great in between for everybody. Everybody wins in a situation like that. And you mentioned also that we're kind of like at the peak for gaming hardware, for the next couple of years or maybe until the next generation. And I
Mhm.
got to agree with you. I think with the cards that we have, the top of the line AMDs, the top of the line NVIDIAs, I think those cards have so much more that they could do, so much more potential.
Oh,
And it's
absolutely.
all about it's about developers really trying to optimize for these cards and not just wanting something bigger and better each time and then putting more on the card than on development focus. Like you really need to truly develop for the cards and get the maximum use out of the cards.
Oh
You
yeah.
don't need more VRAM. You know, you like it's already there.
Yeah, dude,
Don't
eight
don't
gigabytes is enough. Eight gigs is more than enough. Like you look at like PC gaming, and this is like something that I always think about. One thing though, before we move on to that part is, yeah, yesterday I jumped on Final Fantasy 16 to check out FSR 4 on the RDNA 3 card, and dude, I spent 2 hours playing that game because it was just so immersive. After jumping in there to look at that, I was just like, holy crap, I'm so immersed and it looks so beautiful that I ended up spending 2 hours in there with frame gen maxed out, with performance level FSR 4. I was just like, holy crap, this looks beautiful at 4K. It runs super smooth at 140, 50 frames a second. I was like, damn, this is badass. But, 8 gigabytes. A lot of people, are the experts came out and told you how crap they were this generation and that it wasn't worth it and blah blah blah. And I bought all the 8 gigabyte cards and I tested them. I tested them at 1080p. I didn't brute force everything like they do to make it look bad. I said, okay, these guys said these are crap. I set out with that question: are these really truly crap the way they say they are? And so I gave myself some parameters. I'm like, all right, 8 gigabytes, because in my mind I felt the same way. That was my thing. I was like, oh, I was telling people the 12 gigabytes wasn't enough, that they needed 16, blah blah blah. Okay, I was part of the problem. So I forced myself to check that out and see if that is really the case. And is what happened is what the results that came back to me was like mind blowing. On an RTX 5050 playing Battlefield 6 at 270 frames a second, I was like, holy crap, this is crazy. Like, yeah, I had to adjust some settings, but most of these new games at 8 gigabyte VRAM, they still have incredible textures. They still have incredible freaking visuals. Why? Because the generation before that, our consoles were like 5 gigs max. Okay, 5.5 gigs was the usable video VRAM, and so every game that we got maxed out on PC last generation looks as good as this generation's low settings. Basically, obviously maybe some a little bit better shadows and some instances, stuff like that, but low settings still look as good as last gen's freaking max settings. And yeah, that's not bad. 8 gigabytes is more than enough to get beautiful visuals on a video game and still have some to spare for some of the newer features on these newer games. Obviously, ray tracing is definitely a little bit heavier. You definitely need more VRAM for that, but turn it off and enjoy the game without it. Still looks incredible. There's still like a thing where like most of us can barely tell a difference between ray tracing and no ray tracing. So yeah, are you really losing anything? I think 8 gigabytes is still good. I see that as the PC world still trying to keep you at least engaged. Why do you think Steam Machine's coming out with an 8 gigabyte GPU? Because developers are still supporting this and they can still get pretty damn good results out of something like that. And yeah, the world is kind of moving over to AI. So you know, pretty soon we're going to have generative AI in our games. Like they'll be able to build like a skeleton game and just use Gen AI for to fill in everything. So it doesn't even matter, guys. Like is the event, and you won't even be able to tell if Resident Evil Village or Resident Evil 9 came out with DLSS 5 immediately from day one. Nobody would have gave a shit. It looks incredible. Nobody would have cared. I don't think anybody would have gave a shit. Like I looked at those pictures and I was like, gosh damn, that looks incredible. Obviously it changed Grace's look a little bit, made her look a lot more not necessarily older, but it definitely changed the way you would look at Grace. Like she looks super innocent in the original game, when it first came out, but once you actually turn on DLSS 5, she looks more like I don't know. I think maybe it would change the way you see her in the game in terms of like, you know, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it does. Maybe it doesn't.
I just,
I
when you
guess is
say
what I'm trying to say is you would look at her more as like a sex symbol with DLSS 5, whereas you look at her more like innocent in just the standard version, even with path tracing.
you mentioned something about 8 gigabytes of VRAM, and I think, if especially if you are just, let's just say that you don't have a lot of money to spend, but you want to play games or you want to be entertained, you can get a 1080p monitor
Yeah.
and you could be fine at 1080p and 8 gigabytes and do like
Hmm.
120 frames per second.
Oh,
There's
absolutely.
nothing wrong
And
with
and that's and
1080p and
that's
120 frames
literally
per second.
entry level freaking hardware too. Like that's like legit damn near Asus Ally Xbox Ally X, bro. You know what I mean? Like basically an Xbox Ally X, on, on a dock to a 1080p monitor is more than enough for freaking a lot of these games out there. And I look at that and I'm just like, holy shit. And that was the gateway for me was Xbox was what was Ally Asus Ally X ROG Ally. ROG Ally. That was kind of the gateway for me to like, oh whoa, this is actually fun to use. Yeah, it's not the best visuals in the world and blah blah blah, but dude, I'm still enjoying this experience. And then obviously Xbox Series S, being like the bottom rung of the consoles this generation, still able to deliver on these AAA games that have come out all freaking generation. Um, Even when people are like, "Oh, it's not going to happen, it's not going to work," didn't Black Myth Wukong already come to Xbox? I think
I
it
think
did.
so. I think
Yeah,
it did. Yeah.
we got Final Fantasy 16 on there. We've got basically everything, man. Like we've got all of these things. I need to I need to get rid of this real quick. I'm just gonna close this out. That was my little story thing, and I'm gonna turn off my large language model too.
Yeah, I was messing with mine in the background and trying to code some while we were talking because I want to show some more stuff on screen. But I think I showed pretty much what kind of what you could do with local AI right now. I mean, I
It's
could have asked it to code for me too, and it would have made Space Invader games, clones, Pong,
yeah, dude.
and that's all HTML
It's
browser based.
it's pretty freaking smart, man. Like it's such an incredible tool to use. And once you like really start playing around with it more than just meme status, and you start to like really research with it. So that's where I would start researching with like some Copilot or something, like find something that like you really care about and you're like, okay, I want to research this, like maybe research, the history of gaming or something like that, and like really utilize that tool to like dig deep down into it and you know start small, start somewhere. I know that everybody's using it right now as a meme factory. Okay, like I'm pretty sure everybody's like, hey ChatGPT, make me this picture, and it's like, okay, I'll make you a picture. And it's like you're just wasting tokens and energy doing stupid stuff like that. Be deliberate in what you're using AI for, and your results, the more you put into it, the better your results are going to be. um and it's incredible. The AI, if you look at it as a as a as a as like an encyclopedia, like yeah, it's going to do that and it's going to perform well. I mean, but you already had freaking Google for that. You could just use Google search. um but if you give it you first, you got to give it its personality, and then have it push back on you. Have it push back on you. Have it legitimately, like, if you're wrong, have it call you out. If it's wrong, call it out. you know
Yeah, those are some of the things that you can do with the Soul MDs, the Agent MDs, and some of the Markdown files. You can tell it, hey, listen, when I'm wrong, let me know I'm wrong. Answer in as short as possible as you can. Use paragraph form, not list form. Don't be afraid to curse if you get frustrated or something seems frustrating. But you can tell it those things, and it will react that way because you're kind of, it's a fine tune, right? Like these things have so much information. Sometimes you just need to fine tune how you want it to respond to
yeah.
you. Like I created an agent bot that responded to me like an enthusiastic cosplayer, and it was always like,
Mm,
"Hey, what's up, fam? When's the next convention that we hitting?"
yeah.
Like it just was adding that stuff in there. It's
I
pretty
I
cool.
I had
And then
trained. Yeah, I did the same thing with Copilot. I trained it to like, to like help me be toxic toad and stuff, and it would like respond to me like, okay, well, like this is how we're gonna get them today, and this is when it was, yeah, it's fun. Like AI is fun, man. It's cool. I love it. I love playing with it.
And now, I mentioned earlier in this, we're getting to the point where you can have agents like that look like people that you could create from AI images and puppeteer them, and it will actually train itself on lip sync and a mouth movement, and like it might have a basic person just moving around like this, but then it syncs the mouth, and it's, I don't know, man, that's really cool. You can,
Yeah.
like, come on, you can have a podcast with an AI agent.
You
You
can
know, I
actually
was
you
in a
can actually
Twitter.
put two AI agents against each other and have them debate something. It's wild, man. And yeah, you could just have like three or four different agents like sitting there debating each other and stuff. That's pretty cool.
And give them some personality too with your agent's file. Yeah, you could have like kind of argue and
Yeah.
create something that would be just entertaining. You know, I was in an X Spaces the other day, and there was a guy from another country, and he has this bot called Hermita, and he brought it into the Spaces, and it was from Robert Scoble on X. So he was in the Spaces with his bot Hermita, and we were talking about the space race, and we are talking about SpaceX and getting to Mars, and who would kind of control Mars, whether it be like enterprises and corporations, or would governments chime in and break it up and take it for themselves. So I asked his bot Hermita, I was like, who will end up owning or splitting Mars? Will it be governments, or will it be Elon Musk and X? And I was like, answer me, Hermina. And Hermina's like, oh, that's a time old question. Will Uncle Sam come in and take control and tell everybody to get the heck out of there? Well, we don't know, because Elon Musk might have some stuff up his sleeve and some agreements beforehand. But then we don't know about the laws in the United States, if they could, you know, suppress him in any way. So like it was really cool that I was debating this with us. Like, like
Yeah.
this this is peak intelligence
Yeah, for
for
real.
fun, for entertainment.
I feel like we're like the new Athens, bro, where everybody's a philosopher and stuff, and you're debating AI and stuff. It's just incredible. Like the time we're living in right now with AI is truly inspirational for me. As a content creator, just as a human being that's always been like just wanting to see as much cool stuff as possible. AI is truly like the next frontier for what I think humanity is becoming, and it's cool. Like I think about this stuff all the time, and you know I need. I feel like if I don't talk about it on the channel, then it's something that it's just gonna fall away. I can't just keep spinning my wheels with console war and price wars and stuff like that. Like I just can't keep doing that. It's too mentally draining to sit and deal with the little the constant negativity on the internet, bro. It's just not even worth it. It to a point where like you want to be excited about something, and that's all you hear is just negativity. And I know we're going to get a lot of pushback from the AI, the anti AI bros, but what have the anti AI bros created that's actually beneficial for humanity in any way, shape, or form? Like, what have they done except for try to step on the dreams of everybody else? You know what I mean? Like, what have they done? What have they done? You look at Elon Musk, the first trillionaire. Elon's done a whole lot more for humanity than half the people that criticize him will ever even consider doing, like, or even dreaming of doing. Elon's already done more. He's already outpaced the majority of the planet easily. You know what I mean?
And the ironic part about that is most of the people that criticize him drive Teslas
Yep,
or
yep.
EV vehicles.
Or have blue hair in area. I don't know. Yeah, it's just
They're
crazy.
all using his. They're all using, and they complain on X, which is his product. So
Yep,
they're all
exactly.
complaining on his own ecosystem when he owns. And I gotta say this, Froggy, because this really bothers me. Like, I think I think it's okay not to agree with someone, and I think it's okay to
Oh,
not
absolutely.
like their viewpoints, right? Like people are not going to like Elon Musk viewpoints. They're going to think he says terrible things. They're just, and I get it, right? Like you have that right as a human. Like you don't have to entertain that. You don't have to agree with him. But there's one thing you cannot deny, and there's the fact that he has given back to humanity more than what he gets criticized for. Like he's
Yep.
given so much back.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely has. I don't know who that was. Hope they're not jumping in to crash our little party because we're just going off of the Discord. You know, I mean, I guess if somebody wants to jump in and say hi, I'd be all right with that. But um, the things with Elon Musk, my friends, is you look at what he started out. I felt didn't he start off with like PayPal or something? He created PayPal and then just
Yeah, the
started
people
moving
make jokes that he was part of the PayPal mafia. Yeah.
and yeah, and then he just just started growing from there and come up with SpaceX and Tesla and all these companies that obviously if you look at it, they did have a lot of government subsidies. Okay, electric cars. Obviously, there was the whole New Green Deal and all of the freaking climate fanatics that are out there. Pumping his companies with money and stuff to get people to switch over to EVs. Well, my wife and I 2 weeks ago bought an EV. We bought a Chevy Blazer EV, and I'll tell you guys, driving that car, absolutely fantastic. It's just incredible. It's a dream. I had to take my truck over, on Friday to get some warranty, not warranty, but recall work done. And so I just left it overnight, and I was just like, whatever, it's Saturday, tomorrow Saturday, ain't got to go to work. So I left it overnight, and then my wife come home from work. We drive her car over there, I drive over there, and it's just such an incredible drive. And then to go from that EV to jump into my truck, I was like, holy crap, you can like feel all the shifting and it just feels kind of janky. And that EV ride is just so smooth and so like it just feels incredible. And so you look at something like that, and now, and that there, just looking at that's like, oh gosh, dude, I understand why Elon Musk is a freaking trillionaire, bro. Like this ride is incredible. And then like, most people like you don't even understand, but it's like my wife's been driving it now. We went last weekend. Was it last weekend that we went to that thing on Saturday, right? Last weekend on Saturday, we went to a baby shower, 80 miles, 90 miles away. And, we went back up, we filled it up. We went all the way to 100 on that. And dude, she still got, after a whole week of driving to and from work and doing everything, and we went shopping and all kinds of stuff. She's only at like 73% battery. Like it gets good mileage. Like it legit is probably going to be on par with her car, that we were driving. Probably have to fill it, probably have to go charge it like, every other week or every couple weeks, man. Like it's not a bad experience at all. Um, as long as you map everything out and plan everything, I think, yeah, dude, like I'm like really on board with the whole electric car thing, man. Like I love the way it drives. I love the way, the whole computer and everything that it's got in there. Just the utility of the cameras and everything. Like wow, it just feels futuristic to drive that car. I mean, you can get a lot of them features in some of the newer gas powered cars too, but man, the drive quality just feels incredible. It just feels incredible. So it's like, damn, people want to criticize Elon, but it's like, sheesh, he's out there changing the world and making things better. He's like, all right, we got climate change. Let's solve it. Let's make electric cars. Boom, done. Did it. Got them on the road. People are excited about them now. I see Teslas everywhere now. Don't you? I mean,
Yeah, we started seeing a lot of Cybertrucks here in Florida all of
yeah,
a
dude, we got a
sudden.
whole bunch
So
of them here in Utah now too. Everywhere you go, there's Cybertruck everywhere. People are like, "Oh, the Cybertruck's doing bad," and I'm like, "Dude, I legitimately have a neighbor that has one." I'm like, "What the hell, bro?" I'm like, "What are you guys doing driving a Cybertruck?" I would have bought one too, but I don't know, man. I'm a Chevy guy. I've always been a Chevy guy. Our first EV is a Chevy. I think Chevy. I like the way Chevy designs their vehicles better. I like the way this looks. I've got mechanical door handles and all kinds of stuff. So if something happens, I can get out of that car. I mean, obviously, EVs are not perfect, but neither are gas powered cars. They both have their pros and cons, but damn, they're both incredible.
yeah, it's just technology, man, and to think where it's gonna go from here. Eventually, we might even have flying cars for the average consumer. That'd be kind of cool if we get
That
to that point.
could you imagine
But
trying to get the license for that though? Oh
oh
gosh.
yeah, yeah. Unless it's all automated, driven, like through like the
Yep.
Tesla kind of, what is it called, the driving system that they got.
Tesla
Like,
Fly. Uh-huh.
yeah,
Tesla.
that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, dude, it would be cool, man. Like I just feel like AI is that propellant that we need for humanity to move forward. Honestly. Because like yes, there's smart people out there and they create incredible things, but it takes so long for one person or a bunch of people to like create things, and AI can speed that process up way faster than like your average. I mean, think about just the average person, they like have an idea. What if they were sitting right in front of their computer talking to Copilot, they have an idea and they spit it out and Copilot's like boom, just brings up like this whole thing and then it sets them on a path that ends up creating like a new way to generate power. You know what I mean? Like maybe they're sitting there and they're thinking about like, well, gosh, what if we just made like silos on the beach or in the ocean close to the shore and we put turbines in the bottom of them and then we have like a thing that like brings the seawater in from the top and then it goes down and then it turns to turbines and generates power and stuff and we're using just ocean water, we're using pylons or something out in the middle of the ocean that's just helping generate this water, or we find a way to create the fan blades or something out of a material that won't never rust and the seawater won't corrode and something like that. There's just all these different things, to like figure out how to build incredible things that could legitimately change the planet, in a way that we could use nature, the forces of nature in where they're at and just kind of build with them to actually harness the true awesomeness of like the ocean for power instead of I don't know. There's just so many things, Obviously you get a magnet spinning fast enough it's going to generate power. You know what I mean? And if you're using like the full force of the ocean, like confining it and pushing it through to create a turbine that can spin a motor, yeah, dude, you got right there an instant, always freaking spinning source. You just need to be able to find the materials. The AI could maybe help you find the right materials to create that to where it would absolutely last forever and be zero maintenance. That would be the best thing is to find something zero maintenance. The closest thing that we have to that right now is nuclear. Okay. Nuclear is pretty good and it lasts forever, but there's definitely, like maintenance and stuff that goes into that or cooling or disposal or just there's dangers, but something like that, like something sitting in the middle of the ocean with wires running to it that can like generate power, that would be cool.
Yeah, I like that idea. Just having stuff out there that benefits humanity.
Mm-hmm.
And if you could do it in the zero maintenance way and make sure it's safe for everybody, that's how we win. And I think with AI, where we're going, we're headed to ideas like that, interventions like that. And we had our inventors like Bell and Einstein, and we had those type of inventors that were like physical hands-on physicists and scientists. But now we're moving into an area of invention where it could be the common person
Mm-hmm.
using AI. It can just be the everyday average person who thinks of something that nobody else thought of,
Yeah,
and voila, you have an invention that
i mean
just does well for
i
humanity.
mean technically we already have the technology for wireless charging. What if we had, I mean, what if we created something, like beacons around the ocean that would legitimately just beam power instead of having all the cables and all the wires and stuff? You know what I mean? Like there's so many different forms, of technology that we could be using that people just haven't thought of yet. Because, like, look, with our current knowledge, yeah, most of the material that we would try to use to build like a turbine underwater, the salt water would destroy it. You know what I mean? The salt water would absolutely destroy it. It wouldn't last long. You'd be down there, constantly fixing it. That's why they haven't done it. Because I'm pretty sure somebody thought about this a long ass time ago. Obviously, you would need to have force like a regular dam. You build the dam and then you slowly feed the water through the turbines and stuff, from fresh water. But you build that in the ocean, the seawater. The salt water is very destructive, very acidic, and it will like ruin most materials. Um, but if you find the perfect composition of material that can last forever and withstand the forces of what seawater would do to it, yeah, then absolutely you'd be able to, you know, power something that would last significantly longer, and not disturb, like the Three Gorges Dam, disturbing the actual rotation of the Earth because of how big it is. Um, it's Yeah, there's just so many different things that could absolutely be done, or being able to build something in the middle of fresh water, like a big old pylon that we could still use that or utilize that just out in bodies of water. Just find a way to get it to. You need the pressure, the water pressure, so obviously you would have to use something like gravity fed, so that it would kind of keep feeding itself, and then recycling right back into its own self. The water is just there to like turn the tide on, the turbines and stuff. Just build those out in the middle of all these fresh water or something. But still, then you're still having to do maintenance because like bearings and shit burn out. But there's yeah, dude, there's so many different ideas, and the only reason that was like one of the things, like one of my one of my conversations with Copilot a while back was that.
To say I love all these different AI frontier models, and I want to say that my favorite so far is OpenAI with ChatGPT 5.5. I feel like you get the most out of it. I
Mm.
know a lot of people compare it and they like Claude over that, and I get it. Like you have the right to like what you like, and if that works for you, that works for you. But I also like Grok, and I like Gemini 3.5 Flash, and I use each one for a different purpose. And
Can
I
we
just hope that
can we
people out there,
use can we use Grok open? Can you put it on your own machine?
yeah, they have Grok build. So if you have the Premium Plus plan, you get Grok for free with it, or you could get Super Grok for like I think it was $30 a month. And there's people that
Really?
use that because you get the video gen with it, which a lot of people like Grok's video gen.
Maybe I'll try that. $30 a month, and I can
Yeah,
use it natively on my own machine or through there.
you
Huh.
you can install the command line interface, so it will connect through like your PowerShell prompt to it, or you can use their website. I mean, they have other ways to use it too, but I prefer the command line interface. And then
Hmm.
there's something now called Cursor that Elon took over, that X took over, XAI. So it's got Cursor 2.5 fast, and then it has the Grok in there too. So I mean, they're doing a great job with their
Yeah.
AI stuff.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of good things about Grok. I use it sometimes on Twitter or X to like ask questions or create pictures or something. One of these days I was on there and I told it, I was like, "Hey, create me a medal with all the people that have blocked me." um, and it popped out this like little badge of honor with all the names of
Oh
people on
wow.
X that have blocked me, dude. I was like, "Oh my gosh, dude." I mean, we're talking like TikTok brain meme shit, but yeah. I just feel like that's what a lot of people see AI is just some stupid ass meme factory, and they don't really take the time to understand like uh, I mean I get it, if we're a consumption society now. You know what I mean? We're like a society of consumers, and when you do that, like you've people will find the easiest way, like the least path of resistance, and they'll just consume, and that's the thing that they you know stuck to consuming on is the meme generator bullshit. And obviously there's other smarter people out there that are going to actually look at AI the way it's supposed to be looked at, and they're going to utilize it in a way that will absolutely transform them or their livelihood. while other people are just going to be memeing it out and being mad that their freaking RAM prices are so expensive, using it to make memes of this is why your RAM prices are so expensive. And I'm like, yeah, you guys aren't even scratching the surface of what AI is actually capable of. You are legit showing the world why AI is more important now than it ever was, because we absolutely need something smarter than current humanity to get us through the next generation, because hopefully those next Einsteins or something will be able to utilize. Because I mean, you go into schools these days and the teachers are just teaching you how the rainbow crap and everything else, and they're not really giving you any benefits. So you're going to absolutely need something um, out there like Grok that isn't as, what do they say, woke, as some of the other models are. It's actually, well, not necessarily woke, but it doesn't have as many limitations on specific things. Like it'll give you straight answers instead of being cagey and stuff. You know, um, but yeah, dude, like the meme factory is. It's hard to break away from stereotypes once there's something out there until something really absolutely massive comes out and like it's undeniable. That's pretty much the status that AI has kind of gotten itself right now. But obviously, you have curious people that are like, "Yeah, I want to see a little bit more," and then you have people that are just fine with, "Ah, it's a meme factory," and they just dismiss it out of pure ignorance, which is
Yeah,
crazy. Like, why are we like
I
that?
think I think everybody has the right. I'm gonna say this: everyone has the right to whatever they believe and whatnot. But when it comes to uh, models and different models, I do like the models to be more uh, kind of science based, more fact based on things. I know
Yeah, me
a lot of
too.
people have creative ideas of how the world should be, but I'm a person that likes to stick to science and facts, and I'm analytical, and I like to read research and studies and just know the facts of something. I
Yeah,
don't want to be told that 10 theorists have this uh, conspiracy theory and why this should be this way. I want to know the facts. Like, show me the science, show me the facts behind something, and
yeah.
I could study it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's kind of the way I am with it too, because at first I was like, okay, at first I really did feel like AI was just another extension of freaking Google, okay? Like I did. And if you use it like Google, you're just asking it questions, then yeah, it's going to perform exactly like Google. And most people, like, that's pretty much the first impression you're going to get on it, because you're going to jump on it and you're going to be like, all right, well, what about this? Or what about this? And that's what it's going to do for you until you actually use it as a tool. You're not going to truly understand what AI is capable of and what AI can do for you. Even if it just awakens the inner creativity that you already possess, it's worth checking out in a lot of ways, because look, I'm an artistic guy. Like, I can draw. I mean, obviously I said I did tattoos and stuff, so I can create my own art, but I can also prompt it. And like, what was it? The guy that designs that developer, the Bethesda developer we were talking about, that, or no, Todd McFarlane, talking about like, hey man, I want like 10 guns. The artist is going to give me 3. I can have AI give me 10. And so now I got 10 choices, you know? And the same thing with me. I can prompt my AI, I can give it its parameters and then I can prompt it. And then it will give me 10 choices instead of me having to go and look at, because if you're building a game from ancient times, you're going to need images of ancient freaking weapons. And then you're going to have to take that and create something that's, original, but obviously a copy of that. You know what I mean? And so why not have AI be able to do that for you, factually based? You give your AI its prompts, okay, you're a historian. I want only time specific weapons or armor, and I want them to be created within that style, but I want it to look more, like modern or something. You know what I mean? Or I want this flare, that flare, and then it will create that for you. And as long as your prompts and parameters and your the way you're talking to it are concise, the more you give it, the better it's going to be from my experience. And that's pretty much what everybody's going to tell you anyways, be deliberate and give it like as much information. The more information it got, the better. The more it can pull from, because it's got so much information that it at its fingertips, that the more information you give it, the better the result's going to be for you. You know what I mean? It's it's crazy. The more detailed your prompt, the better it will actually turn out to
Oh,
be.
oh yeah, prompting is the most important thing when it comes to AI, and I think that's something that a lot of people need to learn. It's I have friends that put in prompts, and sometimes they'll put in like 10 prompts before they get it right. And I try to help everybody and be like, if you use this prompt, they'll get there faster.
Mm-hmm.
It's about telling the AI the exact information that you need or the exact information that you want or to create, and be exact, be explicit, be descriptive.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the best way to get your thing. Like if you want to create, let's say, a Halloween costume of a person dressed as a dog, right? You don't want to say uh, a dog, right? You want to say, I need a person during Halloween in a costume dressed as a dog, make it realistic, make it look photorealistic, or however you want to say it, but be that descriptive, because then you're going to get a better result from
Exactly.
what you're putting out there.
Exactly what you want. Yep. So my friends, that is pretty much this episode. Basically, we're going to do these every week. We're going to talk about AI for a couple of hours and, kind of talk about the things that we've been doing with it and stuff. And, try to get people at least to understand a different point of AI. Like, we're not going to just I'm not going to take over the whole channel with AI, but we're definitely going to talk about this and we're going to try to bridge that gap because I do see, I'm doing this specifically because I see a lot of negativity. Like AI was something I was just using myself. It wasn't something that I was, you know, going to be doing like a lot of content and stuff on. It was just something that I was using as myself, like a lot of us are, because of the immense pushback that the gaming community has around AI right now. It's just easier to just tune it out and do your thing than to actually talk about it. But we have to change that. Especially because I don't see prices going down anytime soon. I don't, and I want you guys to be prepared with the right kind of information that's going to help you decide better what you actually need. Because look, like I've said multiple times, the price is the price. You will get the value out of the products that you buy, and especially, and that's why it's important now. It's more important now to buy exactly what you want and what you need instead of lowballing yourself into some product that's not going to make you happy. So yeah, that's part of the whole plan of like trying to help you be a better informed in what you want to buy so that you can have the experiences that you want to have. So thank you, clowns, for coming back on again. I look forward to
Absolutely.
chatting with you again next weekend. Um, I'll have some links and everything for him and stuff in the bottom of here. So, yeah, is there anything else you want to add to this before we go? I did my little outro speech.
No, you can all just find me at 4GQ TV, and I hope that you explore AI and understand it and learn it and teach your kids. And especially right now, I think it's important that parents are involved with the children in AI to teach them, um, and come to them with understanding instead of just letting your child just go haywire in AI. Like,
Mm-hmm.
teach them, learn with them, like, be involved in that, because that way you could tell them if AI is hallucinating and give them bad ideas, and you could be there as a parent to kind of guide your children. I think that's important right now.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, all right, my friends, thank you guys for coming. If you made it this far, let us know in the comments if there's anything that you guys would like to experience or see or know more about. I know that my knowledge isn't as big as clowns. I've definitely um, been putting in a lot of work to learn this stuff too. So, yeah, let us know, man. If there's something that you guys want to understand or learn, we'll definitely be there to answer. And yeah, we'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for coming.